On this podcast with Nigel Clarkson, it's Steve Millington of the Houghton Weavers.
On the Sans Showbiz podcast today, we are lucky enough to be chatting to Steve Millington of the Houghton Weavers. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Nigel. Great to be here.
Now, you're originally from Cheshire, aren't you? Thelwall.
Well, I'm originally from Lancashire, really.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
But yeah, it was actually Lancashire in 1959.
Right.
When I was born.
Yeah.
Because it changed all the boundaries and so technically, on my mum and dad's postcode for many years, it was Lancashire,
right?
Warrington in Lancashire. So
excellent.
I guess, but yes, I went to Cheshire schools and
Lim.
Cheshire County Primary School, Thelwall County Primary School. Yeah.
Yeah, and you ended up at Lim, didn't you? Is that right?
Yes, I did, which was great.
We have some family at Lim. So we know Lim quite well. So my wife's side of the family, some of them are living in Lim. So it's a lovely place, isn't it? It's great.
Oh, I can see it now. We used to be in the village. We'd finish at lunchtime. We'd go down to a little cafe called the Coffee Cup in the centre, at the Dingle there. You probably know the Dingle, near the cross.
Yeah, brilliant.
We'd trade dinner tickets so we could get beans on toast or egg on toast. It was wonderful day.
When you first started off, Steve, you did a fair few different jobs, didn't you? I don't mean loads of jobs, but you were doing a few jobs before you became a professional full-time musician.
Yes, I was. I tell you what it was, Nigel. My dad, he was an army man and he'd done national service, and he always thought, God bless him, because he was very, very supportive, and my mum both were very supportive. But my dad thought, son, you need an apprenticeship. You've got to have something to fall back on. And he was he was dead absolutely 100% right. And so what I did, I took an engineering apprenticeship with the Manchester Ship Canal.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. And I still keep in touch with some of the guys because there's a Manchester Ship Canal group on Facebook, and I love it's great. But I had from there, I ended up in a workshop in a place called Modewell, Salford.
Yeah.
It was like a very Dickensian old workshop, and I used to go on the trains, do work on these trains all day with Rolls-Royce engines, and it was wonderful. And then the diving supervisor, I used to, at the same time, I was a marine engineer, and I used to service the boats and ships and work on boats and ships. And what happened was that the diving supervisor came in and said, how would you like to be a diver? Because I was only 21.
Right.
And I said, what do you mean? He said, we'll train you for a year, because North Sea divers were coming and just going season-wise. So we never had a regular team. And he said, we're going to internally train people, and I was trained by 2 Royal Navy guys, clearance divers, and I loved every single minute of it. But I was doing the music at the same time, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to make a choice, because I was coming in from being maybe sometimes I'd come from the south coast overnight, coming to work at Salford Docks, and I'd be under a ship at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, this is a bit dangerous. This is not, it's not not conducive with staying alive, really. I've got to make a decision, and that's how I came to make the decision. Actually,
did you always have the support of your dad, like to
always
be a musician?
Oh, he was so supportive, and my dear old mum, she was Irish, my mum, and I think the music's in her, was in my blood through my mum as well, because of the Irish connection. And I used to go on the boat to Ireland when I was about 4 or 5, and you could buy tin whistles on the boat at Liverpool, and Dublin you could get lighters as well. I always remember that you could get like a Guinness lighter, and my brother would buy a Guinness. Tin whistles I'd be playing on the boat and trying to get a tune out of them, it's always been. And my dad was in a brass band. He was in he was the in the military band, actually. He was the one with the big bass drum with the leopard skin on.
Yeah.
Who used to keep time, and I've got pictures of him, which I am really very proud of in my hall, with him all his military, his uniform, and
Brilliant.
so they were both very supportive. I remember, for example, I didn't have I was a key. I was in a band at school in Lim. And it was like an episode of, of like the fun. I'm not saying I was the funds, but it was like the school dances, and everybody everybody would go to the dance, and then the school group would play, and that's how I started. But I didn't have at school. I had the grand piano, you see, but when we came to gigging outside the school with the band, I didn't have a keyboard, so I had to go down to Manchester and save everything I had, doing gardens at weekends, saved all my money up, and went to A1 Music, which were very kind to me. Anna Name was the owner of A1 in Oxford Road near the BBC.
Yeah, they were all down Oxford Road, weren't they? All the music bits and that.
Yes, still a few, isn't there? Still a few. But and it was great because Anne would say, "We're going to save it for you, and we'll put it to one side." This synthesizer, Korg, bought it. It meant everything to me, and that's what I gigged with for. It was a polyphonic Korg synthesizer, and that's how I started really. We were doing Strangler covers, and all the
brilliant.
Yeah,
I went to Squires. We used to be down there for the disco places.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And I remember getting a decent double deck there from there, like a decent unit, because the first one was a bit rubbishy. But I thought, you saved up enough money, went down in my Ford Escort, and I remember buying it, sticking it in the bag, and thinking, proud as punch, can't wait to get back with it,
Yeah, Ford Escort. Wow, you must have been something to have a Ford Escort. Because I had an old. Oh, I do apologise. It's my cat, but she's a star. I had an old Ford Angular, so.
Oh wow!
But again, your first car is always your special car, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you got about 25 years ago. Then you joined up with the Houghton Weavers, didn't you?
Well, it was more. Probably getting on for 30 years.
Is it?
With the Weavers, yeah. What happened was I was in a band called Poacher, and Poacher were kind of it was a country rock band, and we went all over the place. We had a reasonably sized hit called Darling. Do you remember Darling?
Yeah.
It was released by a Scottish chap as well.
Yeah.
A solo guy, and but Poacher released it, and it did very well on the continent and all over the place. And so we ended up doing lots of touring and festivals, and for years and years and years. I wasn't with them from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I used to do their radio stuff, and if they did concerts, I'd do gigs. And funny story, well, it's not funny actually. It was a serious story. But the lead guitarist Peter Frampton was. He was bitten with an insect. They reckon a spider in London.
Wow.
Which was very, very serious condition he had, and it was. I think it was like a spider brought in on a backpack from Australia in London, and when we were on tour, so he was probably off for nearly a year with it.
Gosh.
And so I filled in on the road.
Yeah.
And that's, the way you end up in bands is quite strange, really. But the Poacher came to an end eventually, went all over the place, had some lovely times. And I found out that they were, the Houghton Weavers were looking for a bass player.
Right.
And because the bass player had left. They've had many, many lineup changes over the years.
Yeah.
And, so I thought, well, I may as well... I'll have a go. And they came down to I had a studio in Warrington at the time. They came down and gave me an audition and said, yeah, you can do the Christmas tour, will be great. And I was only supposed to be with them for 4 weeks, 30 years later.
Wow.
been the best. It's been absolutely fantastic for me. It was. I always say it was like the nearest job. You know, that like working for Marks and Spencers.
Yeah.
In the band industry, and they were great guys, and I've worked with every single one of them. In fact, I think I'm the second longest serving member now of the Houghton Weavers. I'm proud of really because
Are you coming up for 50 years? Are you soon? An anniversary next year?
Next year is the 50th year, and what we're going to do, Nigel, we're going to, as opposed to it's a celebration of the band because obviously I wasn't in it for 50 years, and we've got now we're with Jim Berry, who's Tony's brother, and we use various great musicians who come with us. And what we're going to do some charity gigs, and meaningful charity gigs, and we've got 3 or 4 lined up for next year. So if if you're great listeners, will just go on our website and check out. There will be some, and where all the proceeds go completely to the charity. So we're very proud of that. We're going to do that, and hopefully put it back into society, as they say.
Yeah, we'll put the website details below the video, of course, and then on YouTube and everything, and on the website, so everybody can connect back to you, because they can go on there as well to buy the tickets when they want to go and see you at one of the gigs.
Yes, indeed. I mean, through the theatre as well. You know, they're generally it's mainly theatres we do still, and where we did a wonderful. We did a wonderful gig on last Saturday, for example, a village hall, small, intimate. People were crammed in, and it was a wonderful atmosphere. And they're great. We love doing that.
Have you got a favourite venue in the northwest or in the north?
Well, I tell you what, I did like. One of my favourite ones was the Pyramid. I think mainly because I've come from Warrington. But the Pyramid at Warrington.
Right.
But they've closed it down for a revamp, so we won't be doing that this year. But I love there's so many, and we know all the staff by so the family, and we turn up, we get a cup of tea and biscuits, and how you doing? How's your Annie? How's your they're all fantastic venues, but the Pyramid is special, I think, because I come from around there, and of course
we were in Buxton. We took a trip, me and Mrs. C. I went to Buxton. Never been to Buxton. We stopped in July. What a lovely place. And they had a great theatre just around the corner from us there. Looked a great theatre. The Buxton.
The Pavilion?
Yeah.
Well, we're doing that. I'll give you that date, but it'll be on the website. But we're doing it in, it's, let me just see. I think it's in December anyway, but it'll be all on our website. It'll be all on the website.
Also, you're doing a big festive one, aren't you, in Blackpool?
Yes, we're doing a weekend. We do that every year, and that's great because again, we get together with our fans, and it's close up and personal, and we eat with them.
Yeah,
and we eat Uncle Joe's meatballs with them, and we have a great.
You know how to live, Steve. You know how to live.
Oh, isn't it? Not like the chili peppers, a bit tame, them, aren't they? You said earlier on. We kind of we get together. We have a wonderful 3 days, and we have other acts on as well. We've had acts ranging from Bernard Wrigley to Oldham Tinkers to the Spinners with us. We never quite know because we leave it quite till the last, not till the last minute, but we see who's available. And then we put guests on with us. So we never quite know ourselves who's going to come with us.
No. Is that in the Imperial? Is it the Imperial Hotel?
Yes, a wonderful hotel. And I think most famously, Winston Churchill stayed there, didn't he?
Yeah, there's a room, isn't there?
Yes, there is. It smells of cigars. So I'm not...
Look forward to that then. So people can find out about that as well and book now for the festive one, because that's a great idea just before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant. Do you get time off at all, Steve, to enjoy yourselves and relax, or do you never?
Well, I absolutely love what I do, but in my other job, I do lots of sessions and studio work and production work. I mean, I'm very lucky because I kind of became the band producer because of my that's what I did do anyway.
Yeah.
And I've done for many years. But I've
Yeah.
done 22 albums with the Houghton Weavers, produced 22 albums. So I'm
Right.
very proud of that because we've only done 30. So I've done
Only.
yeah,
Wow.
probably done a good two-thirds of the Weaver albums, which I'm very proud of, really. And they're all my babies, really, because they all mean something special because of the memories of the like Tony singing with me, and I can picture him now in the studio, and because I was renowned for with Tony, he couldn't get over the fact I do a vocal for 4 hours with him.
Yeah.
And then he'd say to the engineer, he won't use that, he won't use it. I'll be back in tomorrow. I was meticulously doing and he'd say, blooming get on with it. he wasn't quite as patient sometimes, but with me. But I'm very proud of the Weaver albums, but I do still do a lot of recording. And so if I'm not with the Weavers, like this week, I'm working with a lady, I'm doing a third album, doing some music for a guy called Paul Van Dusen, who's actually I believe you had Tight Fitting, didn't you? You have Tight Fit?
Yeah, Tight Fit. Yeah, I know him quite well, actually. I've chatted to him a few times, actually. So
Tight Fit. Well, a good friend of mine is Denise Waterman.
Right, Denise. Yeah, she's great. She's such a laugh. Oh, she's such a laugh. When I have her on, she ends up talking about all the TV experiences. It's such a laugh.
She's a wonderful, wonderful girl, and great laughing. I was at a party with her about 5 years ago down in Northampton, actually, with a load of people from the business, and they carry the lion's head round with them, and somehow, for Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Yeah.
Somehow she persuaded me to put the lion's head on and dance. I don't know how she did it. I'll never know, but it was a great experience. So
they're still doing quite a lot of work. Actually, they've got a new album that's come out, and
absolutely
they're promoting that. I'm hoping to go to the party for that in London. Tenuous invite saying you might want to come. We'll try and work it out.
You should get down there, Nigel. But the record I'm doing this week is for that label. That's what reminded me, actually.
Energize,
Energize, and they're a great label. They're a great label. But The Lion Sleeps Tonight was I had the pleasure of working. Well, I produced an album with him. A guy called Carl Denver. Remember Carl Denver?
Yeah.
He was the first one to do that, and then I met Denise after that, and that it's such a great song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tonight. Yeah. I was very proud because Carl was he was a seaman, merchant seaman, and he picked up the African chants,
right,
and learnt the African chants when they were in South Africa and put Wimaway to it.
That's great. It was a cover version, that wasn't it, Steve, from original. It was an original. The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Well, Carl did Wimaway, which was based on The Lion Sleeps Tonight. So the first one, Carl always maintained that Wimaway was the first because it's got the Wimaway.
Catchy, isn't it?
Fantastic. And Denise, great person, really very lovely person.
Yeah, back to the Houghton Weavers then. When people go to the show, some people might have never been to your show, right? It's going to be rare, let's face it. But if they're going to go along, what do they expect to see when they get there? I know you entertain, don't you? There's a lot of humor in there as well as the music.
Well, with us, Nige, we just want people to come because we believe people are paying good money to see a group of guys that with moderate talent, but
say that.
Well, we're not like the Chili Peppers, or they're really good, But and what we give, I guess we give, like we want them to go away with a smile on the face. We want them to interact. We want them to sing with us. And it's a little bit of, I guess, the Houghton Weavers is a little bit of social history, isn't it? Lancashire social history. Like on Saturday, people were waiting for things like Manchester Rambler and Sit Thee Down, and you can see it's bringing back all these memories, and then they all start to discuss. Oh, remember? Oh, my dad would have loved this, and it's kind of like we just. Our strapline is keep folks smiling, and that's what we'd love to do. We love to keep folks smiling, and if they go out with a few laughs, because the world being as it is now, it's quite a serious place.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely.
And if we can give them the Jim Berry, who's half of the Houghton Weavers now, he's got some lovely stories. He's a great poet as well, and I've got to say he's a sublime songwriter.
Yeah,
he does some really very funny songs and some serious songs, and I love working with him. We work in the studio together, like I did with his late brother, and we have a great time. And we connect. We've got this connection with the audiences, because some have been following us for longer than I've been in the band, and it's wonderful, really wonderful to. We're very blessed with great fans.
They're like a proper heritage of the country, aren't they? Really, the Houghton Weavers. Everybody knows who they are, don't they?
Yeah. As do like the Oldham Tinkers and the Spinners and Five Penny Piece. There was a kind of surge of those kind of bands in the mid 70s.
Yeah.
And of course, I was probably still at school when the Houghton Weavers were on TV.
Yeah.
In the coffee cup in Lynn, having me egg on toast. But they were kind of, my dad used to absolutely love them, and Mum, and we'd watch them on television. And I was never quite that keen on them, actually. Because, isn't it funny how life turns out? I was into, probably like yourself, I was into bands like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And
they were brilliant.
And Led Zeppelin. And, I'd go in my mate's bedroom in Thirlwall, and we'd listen to Led Zeppelin album for 10 times over, And so the Houghton Weavers really, I liked what they did on the television, and I liked the fact that they made my mum and dad very happy. But I wouldn't have followed them at the time. I was only 14 or 15.
But everybody was aware of them because they were always on the TV, weren't they?
Yeah. They were, but everybody tends to know the Houghton Weavers, and we're very lucky. I can't tell you, we're very blessed, and there's been a lot of lineup changes over the years, and there's been different bass players, different guitarists, but we're very lucky at the moment. We've got some great players working with us at the moment, and we've just done a single, actually, Spanish Lady.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, but we've used some of the great players. Peter Frampton, for example, from Poacher, who was with me, great musician, and a guy called Simon Brady.
Yeah.
A guy called Mando Mike, who's from Frodsham in Cheshire.
Yeah.
And we've put drums on this track for the first time for a long time, and we're using a guy I've worked with many times, a guy called Roy Martin.
Yeah.
I'm going to name drop now, but he played with, and he won't like me doing this, but he played with Aretha Franklin in New York for a while. And,
wow.
He's a brilliant drummer.
Yeah.
And I just plugged in the track across, and he put drums on it and sent it back. And
technology, eh? Again.
Great. And so they're all exciting times. It's like we're always constantly pushing the boundaries, I think. Because Jim's very innovative.
Yeah.
And I'm, I don't like to stand still, and I like to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
I think we still keep all that Lancashire folk, and when people come to see us, they'll see a great segment of the show. Massive segment is traditional Houghton Weavers songs, and we want to keep that. But we'll put a little bit in of new things as well, and some new content, and that's what keeps us fresh. A bit like we spice it up. We like to fizz it up a little bit now and again.
Yeah. Was it written about an experience, by the way, the latest song, Spanish Lady?
Well, it was actually about an old gentleman, actually. He's actually talking as an old gentleman, but reflecting as a young gentleman when he met his love.
Yeah.
and it's based on a poem actually.
Right.
In
I thought you'd been on holiday. I thought somebody had been on holiday and observed this lady doing a bit of washing on some steps.
Well,
Listen to it.
That was another one. That's called Benidorm Lass.
And then I realised it said it's in Dublin, so I thought, oh, hang on a minute, it can't be right that.
Yes, a traditional Irish. We do a few Irish traditionals, but the last one we did was Wild Mountain Thyme, and that was we did that for a film called Between Weathers, and set up in the Shetlands, and that was a lovely. We were able to get strings and real orchestral strings on that, which was a full experience to do.
It's good to see you still evolving all the time as well. That's good, isn't it? Keeping fresh.
Yeah, well, yeah. And you know something, Nigel, it's the technology. You'll know this, but the technology it's open for everybody now.
Yeah.
For young people, you know, a young 9-year-old, for example, can go and make his own record. You know, and with this wonderful studio technology, it's a great time to be creative, and I really believe it's a wonderful time for in some ways it's harder nowadays because you haven't got that infrastructure like in the old days. You know, you'd get a record.
It's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has massively changed. But there's lots of opportunities.
Yeah, brilliant. Anyway, I better move on. Time's running out.
I'm enjoying this now.
Be the first one.
Oh, I know.
No, it's been great chatting to you. I must get along to one of your gigs because you're just down the road at Lytham St Anne's. That's where we are. You're at the Lowther Pavilion. Oh,
please do. And any of your wonderful viewers would love, please do come along, and we'll guarantee you a fun night. And,
excellent. We'll put all the dates down for you, Steve, underneath everything, all the details, so everybody can get the tickets and get sorted out.
Great. And thank you so much, Nigel. It's been, I've really enjoyed it. It's been great.
Well, thank you for sparing the time to chat as well. We'll keep in touch, and maybe catch up maybe next year or something. Find out where you are.
We'll have some new adventures, and hopefully yourself as well. And good luck with the with Sands. It sounds a great enterprise. So
thank you. Thanks for that. Much appreciated. All the best anyway, and I'll see you soon.
All the best to your wonderful viewers. Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot, Steve.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us and sharing in the untold stories of the stars. In the world of showbiz, there's always another story waiting to be told. See you next time.